Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Moxxie Coaching podcast. My name is Michelle, and I'll be your host as we explore what coaching is and how it can help you create your best life. If you're anything like me, it's important to you to give back in some way. Maybe it's volunteering in the soup kitchen. Maybe it's donating $1 million to environmental research. It doesn't really matter. I started coaching and podcasting because I'm just one person who can only do so much alone. And I realized that through coaching and through podcasting, I could help and support those of you who want to do good works and exponentially increase the amount of good that I'm able to do. So if this sounds like you, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Be well. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Moxxie Coaching podcast. My name's Michelle, and I can't wait to get started today. We are jumping into 3 new major arcana tarot cards for self-coaching. So the cards that we're going to be using today, or discussing today, I guess I should say, are the Chariot, Strength, and the Hermit. So let's jump right in with the Chariot. The Chariot card itself shows a golden-haired macho man, basically, on a chariot, forcefully moving forward, powerfully getting stuff done. This guy is he's a go-getter. He is someone who really is all about conquest and triumph over obstacles and triumph over difficulty. Some people will say to the point that if you are seeing the Chariot in a regular reading, that you may want to consider that whatever you're working on right now is on the right track and that it's headed for success. Also, the level of tenacity that the Chariot card brings is something that we all could use, right? We all get frustrated and discouraged and this and that on occasion. And the Chariot is all about sticking to it, getting it done, and being triumphant. The Chariot suggests success and victory through hard work and charging through with your power, right? Using your power, coming into your power, and using that with confidence and with the knowledge that you are you're moving in the right direction and you're doing it in a way that is appropriate, that is, I don't like this word necessarily, but righteous, meaning it is movement toward something positive. So who might we think of if we think of archetypes? Well, the one that comes to mind immediately for me is Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. Jon Snow character was a strong, dynamic, forceful, bold person who really was focused on doing the right thing, at least most of the time, right? He was able to lead people to victory. He was able to be an excellent role model as a strong person, as a powerful person, but also as a person who is not likely to run over you with their chariot. So while they are very forceful, while they are very action-oriented and completing projects and moving things forward and doing the right thing, they will pay enough attention to where they are steering that chariot that they're not likely to be the type that runs over somebody. Superheroes are another great example of the chariot. Um, Gosh, I'm trying to think. Who else? James Bond, kind of, in a way, has the little chariot thing going on. Okay, so what are some of the questions that you might want to ask yourself if this card is coming up for you in a reading? One question you might want to think about asking yourself is, are you working hard enough and are you persevering to complete whatever project you're working on? Is there something in your life that you are having to kind of drive forward? Is there something that you are in charge of that needs to get done, that is something that will potentially help others? And the question is, are you really staying focused? Are you staying on task? Are you embodying that positive, strong, independent, forceful chariot energy? You might also consider asking yourself, what do you need to do to increase your stamina right now? Let's say that you are halfway through an enormous work project. The launch isn't for another 3 months, and you are already feeling like you're getting a little bit burnt out. And the chariot comes up for you in a reading. That chariot could be coming up for you because it's saying, hey, you need to figure out a way to manage your stuff, right? Manage your health, manage your physical health, your mental health, your ability to problem solve, your ability to move things forward. You need to cultivate more of that in yourself potentially, because you could be just struggling. And in order to really forcefully move things forward the way the chariot needs you to, or wants you to, and wants to help you, you really need to have some stamina. So where in your life can you get more stamina? Does it mean going to bed earlier? Does it mean sharing some of the project tasks with a team member? You know, maybe because you are in this chariot mode and you're the lead on the project, you are really, really just burning the candle at both ends when you could be utilizing people on your team to help you. Another question, think about what might subconsciously be blocking you from getting into chariot mode so you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. For example, let's say that could be anything. And I recognize that I use so many examples from work, and not everyone has a regular outside of the home job. So I'm trying to come up with some some suggestions and some examples that are really relevant more to everyone across the board. All right, how about this example? Let's say that you live in a small community and you recognize that some of your neighbors are struggling to put food on the table. And you recognize that, and you have the ability, because you are an awesome, amazing person, to do something about this problem. And you want to do something about this problem, but you are feeling stuck. So ask yourself, what is potentially subconsciously blocking you getting into the chariot mode that you need to get into in order to create a project, create a food bank, do whatever it is that you need to do to be of assistance to the people in your community. You also might want to ask yourself, is there anything that is not subconsciously blocking you? Is there something that you're aware of that's blocking you? You know, maybe it is, I don't know, maybe you're shy. Maybe you are um, a little bit intimidated by being someone who is out there asking others to help people. It doesn't really matter what the block is, but if you can identify that block, you will be able to move yourself into the chariot mode, right? The chariot mode that is powerful and strong and helpful and supportive. So, those are the types of questions that you're going to want to ask yourself when this card comes up. Questions about hard work, questions about perseverance, um, asking yourself, maybe you're not even clear why the chariot's coming up. It could be coming up because there's an opportunity for you to take on some kind of awesome project. Or it could be coming up because it's a reminder to you that you are a strong and powerful person, and it's time for you to step into that power and to embrace your chariot abilities, so to speak. Okay, let's move on to strength. I really, really, really like the strength card. The strength card is really all about compassion and inner strength. It's about dominating your fears, right? Recognizing that something is scaring you, or something is intimidating you, or something is blocking you. Recognizing that and having the courage to do it anyway. And the card itself is just a lovely card. It's one of my favorites in the deck, actually, especially in the Rider-Smith Waite deck. And it's an image of a woman, a very gentle looking woman, and a lion. And she is very gently closing the roaring lion's mouth. She is, in effect, taming and bringing that lion under control. And that lion is either a fear or a worry or something that needs to get done that we're just not feeling up to. So it's really about a gentle strength. It's not about physical brute force. It's about mental strength and spiritual strength and being someone who has a strong constitution. Now, this is going to sound sexist, but in my experience, while men often, almost always, have more brute strength than women, in my experience, women are equal to or beyond men when it comes to inner strength, inner fortitude, um, looking at life as potentially something that needs to be managed, right? But it doesn't need to be managed through force. It doesn't need to be managed through physical strength. It needs to be managed through compassion. It needs to be managed through maybe even compromise. And it needs to be managed through a respectful lens that while you are showing your strength, while you are demonstrating your strength and coming into that strength and coming into that power, you are still looking at it from the perspective of other people and from the perspective of being this person, being this strong and powerful and centered, self-confident, assured, ready person. Not surprisingly, some of the archetypes for the strength card include Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, anyone who is all about using their strength and their power to gently help others. I mean, it could be anything from It could be a priest. It could be, goodness, it could be someone manning a homeless shelter that really, really wants to do the right thing. And it is a hard, hard, hard thing to do to maintain the positive attitude that you need to maintain, in the face of all of the difficulty and daily working with people who are really, really struggling. So there are strength heroes all over the place. It's just a shame that we don't recognize them as much as I think we should. All right, so what are some questions that you would want to ask if the strength card comes up for you in a reading? Well, if the card comes up in a reading, it may be asking you if you are prepared to address an upcoming challenging situation. And maybe it's a situation that you are aware of. Maybe it's a situation that you are not aware of. It could be that this card is coming up to give you a heads up, to say, okay, here's the strength card. Take on as many of the characteristics of this card as you can, because you are going to need its support. It could be anything from you're getting ready to start a big project at work. Shoot, maybe you're getting ready to give birth and you're a new mom and you are scared to death and you don't know what the hell you're doing and what am I thinking? What am I going to do with this little bitty tiny helpless human? Strength comes in all different shapes and sizes. So ask yourself, is something coming up for me? If it is coming up for me, can I prepare for it? And if I can prepare for it, am I prepared? If I'm not, what do I need to do to get there? You also may want to think about if there is someone around you who needs that type of strength and that type of support, that type of unconditional love where you say to them, I know you are an absolute mess right now, and I'm here. I've got you. If you need something, I'm here to help you. Because it's all about that unconditional love, that unconditional support. So perhaps there is somebody in your life that you're not recognizing that needs that support. So many of us live in our little silos and we just muddle through and we get through the hard stuff without help from others. And it doesn't always have to be that way. Maybe there's somebody in your life that's experiencing something like that, and they just need you to say, hey, I recognize it. I see you, and I see that you're struggling. And is there anything I can do to help you? You may also want to ask what tools you need to develop to better address some of these challenges that come your way. Maybe you are really struggling with a challenge right now and you are not at all feeling like the strength card. You are feeling like you just want to jump back in bed, pull the covers up over your head, plug your ears and sing la 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 because you absolutely do not want to deal with something right now. So this card could be coming up to remind you that you have the strength that you need. And what tools do you currently have that you can grow, develop, cultivate to help you manage and help you be that stronger, more stable, more stable, more secure person? And then one last question, although there are tons of questions, I'm just trying to give you guys a starting point, right? A way to look at the card and then come up with some questions on your own, perhaps. I apologize, my dog is barking in the background. Okay, so the last question is, how can I develop more inner resolve? How can I develop more stick-to-itiveness? What can I do to develop that internal knowing that I have this. That internal, slow and quiet confidence that if everybody in this world had, the world would be a very different place. So ask yourself, what is it that I can do to cultivate that within myself? And what can I do to help others once I'm able to do that? Okay, the last card is dun, 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 the Hermit. The Hermit is all about introspection, guidance, and mentorship. It's about looking inward and personal reflection, taking some time when you need it to really step back and evaluate. Take a look at what's going on in your life, take a look at whatever the situation is that is causing you some grief, and basically it's telling you not to take action, right? So where the Chariot is all about move, 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 let's get it done, the Hermit is all about let's think about this. Let's use our intellect and our wisdom and our intuition and really think about what is the best course of action for this particular situation. The Hermit gives great advice. And if you take a look at the card, it really is one of those cards that I think a lot of people would look at and say, yeah, boring. But the meaning behind the card is really very lovely. And it's simply just a tall, bearded man who is sort of, well, he's wearing a cloak and he's a little bit bent over and he just looks very peaceful and he's holding a lit lantern. And that lit lantern can represent things like inner knowledge, inner wisdom, that inner flame that we all have. So, what are some of the questions that you might want to ask if this card comes up for you in a reading? Well, you might want to ask yourself, do I need to take some time? Do I need to step back? Do I need to evaluate? Do I need to put things on hold for a couple days, for a week, for however long it takes until I am more in a place where I can deal with this? Is someone in your life withdrawing? Is another question. Is there someone in your life that that you have noticed is pulling back? This card could be coming up because there is someone who is doing just that, someone who has stepped back from a relationship or stepped back from life in general. I mean, goodness knows that, I think I certainly cannot be the only one who has just basically said on and off for the last year and a half, I quit, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore. And of course I'm talking, global stuff, not personal stuff, but just dealing with all of the crap of the pandemic and all of the craziness that's going on in the world and the politics and the global warming and all of those things. So, is there someone in your life that's had enough of that and they're not coping? Do they need some assistance? Or are you the one that has basically created your own little hermit cave and you have been really, really just focusing internally, focusing on yourself and your own stuff, really doing some self-exploration, doing some digging into who you are and the type of person that you want to be, the type of things that you want out of life. Another reason the Hermit may be coming up is that the card is there as a catalyst for you to ask yourself if there's something that has been bothering you. If you have something going on underneath the surface that you haven't really taken the time to look at yet. Is there something that needs some examination? And if that's the case, why are you putting it off? Are you putting it off because there's something about yourself that you don't want to look at? Is there something about a situation? Maybe you are struggling with some type of relationship right now, and the idea of that relationship ending is traumatizing for you, and so you're not dealing with it. You're not dealing with the fact that this is going on. You've got your head in the sand, and it's time for you to put some light on the situation, take a look at it, and basically step into that strength from 2 cards back and move yourself forward. It could also be coming up. It could be asking you if there's someone in your life who's looking for a mentor, or are you looking for a mentor? The Hermit energy is great coaching energy. It's great supportive energy. So take a look at yourself, take a look at your situation, and ask yourself these questions to try to figure out why this card is coming up for you. All right, how about archetypes? Well, this is kind of a no-brainer, I think. The guru on the top of the mountain living in a cave seeking enlightenment. Okay? A monk in retreat. Walt Whitman and Henry David Thoreau were kind of hermitish types of individuals back when they were. Gosh, when was it? Late 1800s? Anyway, so they are both characters who removed themselves from daily life for a while. They went and spent time in nature, and they went and used that time to look inside, to examine, to cultivate an inner peace, and to cultivate an inner knowledge. So I'm hoping that by now you guys can start to see the fact that the list of questions for each card could be really, really long. And what I'm trying to do in this series is to give you enough information and enough examples that you can begin to create your own list of questions. And I'm really, really hoping that this is working for you. Next time, we will be talking about the Wheel of Fortune. We'll be talking about justice. And we will be talking about the Hanged Man. All of them are super fun, interesting cards to dig into. So I hope that you were able to gain some valuable knowledge today about these 3 major arcana cards. And I will look forward to talking to you next week when we cover these 3 new cards. And in the meantime, have a fantastic week. Keep playing with those tarot cards, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.